Hi, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on Canime TV, where I share my thoughts and opinions on all things anime and manga. In this week's video, we'll be talking about the latest drop, One Piece chapter 1027. It's yet again another exciting week for this week's chapter of One Piece. The Wano fight so far has been amazing. In fact, now that we are reaching the climax of the fight, honestly every week's chapter has been pretty intense. This week's chapter was titled An Unbelievable Disaster. The title page we see Roger running away from the lion who he had just drawn on, and Shanks was crying and sitting on a tree. Honestly, this is not a Shanks that we are familiar with, but I really hope that this is indicative that the next arc we can finally see some interaction between Luffy and Shanks again after so long. But enough about the title page, now let's dive right into the chapter. We open the chapter with the fight ending between Nekomamushi, Inuarashi and their respective opponents. Now Nekomamushi is telling Kaido to be careful in case she turned back into a Sulong form, as now the moon is back. Plus, we all know that Wings turning into their Sulong form drains quite a huge portion of their energy, and the fight is not over just yet. Who knows when they need their Sulong form back again. And from the statement of this worried Nekomamushi, we can also tell that if the Minks are not in control of their Sulong form, they may just transform, go out of control, and keep getting their energy drained, which is something that you do not want when you are fighting one of the 4 emperors. The next panel shows Yamato and Momo looking up at the sky, still getting parted by both Luffy's and Kaido's conqueror's haki, reminding them again of Oden's journal description between the fight of Roger and Whitebeard. And once again, this is a confirmation that Luffy has finally reached the level of Yonko and is at the level playing field with the other 4 emperors. Honestly, this just made me so excited that we finally get to see the day that Luffy has finally reached this level. We were then shown a panel of both Luffy and Kaido getting somewhat exhausted from their fight. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as Kaido is nicknamed the strongest creature in the One Piece world, everyone has their limits, and clearly Kaido is almost reaching his. And now that Yamamoto's adrenaline was almost gone as she wasn't fighting Kaido anymore, she was starting to feel the backlash from Kaido's Thunder Barqua's attack. As she was bleeding from her head, reality finally hit her, making her realize just how strong her father was, and the disparity between their power levels. Luffy then called out to Yamamoto, calling her Yamabro, asking her to give Momo a hand, going as far as to call Momo a snake rather than a dragon. This comedic bantering between Momo and Luffy will be one of the things I will miss after the Wano arc. I mean, we all know that Momo is gonna stay behind to help build back Wano and open its doors to the rest of the world. And I have no idea who will Luffy's last member be, but I'm honestly hoping it's either Carrot or Yamamoto. Either way, it will be a great addition for his team and the final stretch of his journey. Luffy then shouted back at Momo, saying that he still hasn't gotten his grip after all that he has been through, and Momo bickering back, saying that it's not so easy to change despite everything he has went through. I mean, of course, right, it's freaking Kaido we are talking about here, one of the 4 emperors that rules the sea, and a man who killed both his parents. I mean, if it were up to me, I'll probably be shitting myself in my pants right now. Yamamoto then assures Momo and told him that he has got his back and there's nothing to worry about right now, going as far as to apologize to Momo for back when they splitted up previously. Kaido then chased after them, exclaiming, "Where the hell do you think you're going?" Now Momo at the edge of the cliff, and once again wasn't able to jump as the fear of height got to him again. Kaido then struck them, but Yamamoto defended against that attack, asking Momo to quickly escape, as he knew that he wouldn't be able to take more of Kaido's attack. The next panel then showed Luffy demanding Kaido to hold it, while strangling Kaido with his legs and grabbing him back onto the island to continue the fight, which then saved Momo and Yamamoto from any more attacks. Luffy then exclaimed, calling out "Yamabro" again, and Yamamoto, having understood his intention, replied him, I know, you want him all to yourself, right?" And Luffy replied with, "Yup," as if he'd just gotten a new kind of meat to eat. The following panel shows Momo dropping down from the edge of the island, exclaiming, "It's the end!" While Yamamoto shouted back, telling him that dragons don't actually fly, but they are able to grab onto the sky using clouds that they conjured up as footholds. Momo quickly understood this and picked it up, and once again soared through the sky, nicknaming his new flying ability the Dragon Dash, and Yamamoto exclaiming back to him that they are called flame clouds. We then see Yamamoto telling Momo to watch out as one of the rubbles was about to hit them, but Yamamoto swatted away. The next page, we were able to see the island of Onigashima slowly dropping out of the sky, and that it's crumbling as it drops. Yamamoto realizes this and deduces that Kaido's powers are weakening as the island was in the air due to his ability to control the clouds, but they are not able to support it as well anymore. Momo realizes this and knew that it was bad news. He then thought to himself, He grew bigger so that he could protect the flower capital and stop such tragedies from happening. He then charged straight towards Onigashima Island, expecting to make a dent or destroy the island. But Yamamoto told him that it's useless, as the time to take to destroy the island would be far longer than the time it would take for the island to crash into the flower capital. Yamamoto then told Momo that he could use his flame cloud's ability to bring the island back up into the sky, as he was a dragon too, and that was essentially how Kaido moved the island in the first place. Momo then exclaimed back to him, asking Yamamoto if he was mad, saying that he had just learned how to fly, and now he has to make the island float. I mean, I totally understand Momo's point of view, and his stress, and just how insane it is. It reminds me of the time when I had to study one day before the exam and I had to take a 3 hours paper. I mean, that was just insanity. In the next page, Momo said that there's no guarantee that his powers will work exactly the same as Kaido's. But Yamamoto rebutted, saying that if he was able to summon the flame clouds, he should be able to do the same. Yamamoto continued by saying that if they can't do anything about the island, it would land as Kaido had intended, destroying and killing everyone in the flower capital, and that it would be more catastrophic if Kaido were to run out of steam earlier than intended. His flame clouds would disappear, and the same thing would happen at a much faster pace. He then described Onigashima as a literal bomb, as the entire island is stocked full with weapons and gunpowders, and that there would be no time to evacuate all of its citizens. So if it landed and crashed into the flower capital, the explosion would destroy everyone. Doesn't matter if you're friend, foe, Yonko, Luffy. Okay, Luffy has plot armor, so it doesn't matter. As usual, Momo panicked yet again, saying that they should have stopped Luffy from fighting Kaido. And thank God Yamamoto is there with Momo. She was able to slap some sense into him with a club, asking him not to be a moron, and that Luffy was staking everything while fighting Kaido despite being barely able to stand. Yamamoto then exclaimed that Luffy is the only one that can defeat Kaido, and that telling him about this situation would just burden him further, causing him not to concentrate on his fight. She then told Momo that they will have to figure this out on their own. Honestly, I hope that this situation will make Momo into the man that everyone expects him to be, and finally able to rise to the title of the Wano Shogun. I can't wait for Momo to harness his dragon powers and finally able to use it the way it's supposed to be used. We were then brought back into the internal parts of the castle where King was fighting Zoro. King unleashes an array of slashes, slicing everything in its path, be it friend or foe, with Zoro barely managing to block it. After blocking the attack, Zoro was sent flying, causing him to crash into Frankie. Frankie then asked Zoro if he was okay. Zoro replied that King was pretty strong and it wasn't surprising to him. I mean, of course, this dude just went head to head with 2 of the 4 Emperors of the Sea, while surviving all of the attacks and still managing to deal a deadly blow to one of them. Whenever Zoro appears, it's just a page filled with testosterone. Frankie then asked Zoro if he needed help, but he just replied saying, "Nah, I'm good. You just can't get any more badass than that." The next page, we see that Queen was arguing with King, saying that he almost hit him with his reckless attack, and King replying him that it's a pity that he did not slit his throat. I mean, I would pay top dollar to see 2 of Kaido's strongest fighters go head to head. But then again, Queen is still better left for Sanji. We then see some minions stating that Zoro was able to crack King's mask and that no one has ever seen King's real face, leading him to be extremely furious. Zoro then told Frankie to take a step back as King charges towards Zoro using an attack called Thank You Don, Divine Red Bow. Sounds a bit like Thank You Don. Okay, never mind. Zoro countered with his own technique, the 3 Swords style Tiger Hunt. King's mask cracked even further, and Zoro was once again sent flying across the room. In the next panel, King charges towards Zoro, continuing his onslaught of attacks, forcing Zoro out into the open space outside of Onigashima Island. I mean, that's pretty smart considering that King has the ability to fly and Zoro doesn't, and it would be an immediate knockout. Zoro realized that he was going to fall, and he used his attack Clear Lens to propel himself back onto the island, and he was able to safely get back on solid ground on Onigashima Island. But because of the attack, both King and Zoro were clearly not inside the castle anymore. Zoro then exclaimed to King, saying that he should at least use a blade when he's going in for a kill, and that what he just did was totally unforgivable. King then replied, "The same goes for you," and that ends the chapter for this week. I mean, obviously Zoro was fighting King as a swordsman, and wanted King to be fighting under the same set of rules from one swordsman to another. But clearly King doesn't give a shit and he was pissed that Zoro cracked his mask, causing him to reveal his face little by little. Now we have seen Zoro use Ashura in his fight against Kaido, and this is currently one of Zoro's greatest fights ever since coming to the New World. I honestly don't know if Zoro has a greater ability than Ashura or if he has anything else up his sleeve. I mean, he's definitely gonna defeat King, and he will overcome this fight on his own in order to proceed to the next arc in the New World. In the previous few chapters, we learned that Zoro has an uncanny resemblance to Ryuma, from using one eye to the three sword style. I am hoping if we can get to see some other form of demonic possession from Zoro, or even better, use a technique similar to Ryuma, invoking some other hidden technique that was previously lost from Wano. That would actually be epic, but this is just me hoping. Once again, do let me know in the comment section down below on your thoughts of this chapter, and let me know if you guys like to see more of One Piece review content. If you like the content of this video or just want to support this channel, do leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.